Hi there, and welcome to another edition of Buzz TV, the live stream by beekeepers for beekeepers. My name is Bryan Race. I am your co-host, your technical producer for the show, and I just want to extend to you a very warm welcome on what we think is going to be a very fun show tonight. It's a little bit of a celebration around here. Welcome to season number 2 of Buzz TV. A little bit later in the broadcast, we'll take a look back at some of the highlights from our very first season, and just thank you guys for being along on this ride. It's been a fun one. We're hoping that you'll hang in there on season number 2. And in addition to just a little bit of a celebrating, one of the ways that we do want to celebrate is with some freebies. And around here, you know that freebies really means free bees. Yes, we will be giving away a package of free bees coming up in just a little bit. Well, each and every show that we do of Buzz TV is brought to you by Mountain Sweet Honey at mountainsweethoney.com. And I can guarantee you there will be some special savings in tonight's show. So if you're all about saving money on beekeeping supplies, don't go anywhere. We're going to help you out tremendously. And speaking of Mountain Sweet Honey, Ray Civitts is the owner of Mountain Sweet Honey. He's a beekeeping expert, and he's our host on Buzz TV. How are you, my friend?
I am doing well, Brian, and happy anniversary.
Yes, 1 year. They said it wouldn't last, and yet here we are.
And that we wouldn't kill each other, too.
I think you've thought about it once or twice, but I'm so grateful and appreciate this opportunity to come back for another season.
Well, Brian, this first year anniversary, we've seen a lot of things. We've done a lot of things. We've been on a road trip down to Florida, Hurricane Ian, and met some really great beekeepers. We've also had some great people here in the studio and also electronically bringing them in through a feed and doing interviews with them.
That's been my favorite part, is just the building of community. The beekeepers that we've met in business over the years have been great. And now we're just sort of extending out the reach. The Mountain Sweet Honey family continues to grow, and interacting with people with their beekeeping questions, and that's been the most rewarding thing for me.
And we've kind of caught fire with some other competitors where they've decided, hey, we're going to do something similar to this too. And so I take that as a big compliment.
Yeah, I'm all for it, because we're here to grow community, to help people expand their knowledge base. And I say the more the merrier.
Yep. Now, Brian, one thing that we're going to talk today about is the feeders. There's a bunch of different types of feeders people use for their bees. And I'm going to take a step-by-step today through what are the pros and cons of each of those feeders. So we'll be doing that in just a few minutes here in the show.
Okay. And the savings that I sort of alluded to a moment ago, that'll be centered around some of the feeders that we sell at Mountain Sweet Honey.
And those prices are good through midnight tonight. And they've already been marked down on the website.
Nice.
So there's no special codes or anything like that there.
Okay.
Now, Brian, the first thing we're going to jump into in the show here today is talking about some changes here at Mountain Sweet Honey. So I sat down with Nikki Sweeney a couple of days ago, and let's go ahead and roll that footage.
Hi, everyone. I want to take a moment and bring you up to date on some great news here at Mountain Sweet Honey. Before I make this announcement, I want to take a moment and reflect on where we've been as a company. As many of you know, I started this business out in my residence, out of my double-car garage. And then it gradually built from there to the garage plus 1 room, plus 2 rooms, and then plus 3 rooms. And then we ended up where we are currently on a 5,000 square foot building. And over the years, that has grown to 20,000 square feet. And we're looking for more space as we speak. The business growth over the last 12 months has just been phenomenal. We have now 13 full-time employees. For my part, I've been putting in a lot of hours. Some weeks, 80-plus hour weeks, especially during bee season. That really hurts on growth of planning for future growth as a company. I've been thinking about a new position here at Mountain Sweet Honey over the last 2 years. And what I need to do is reduce my workload and begin to focus more on future growth. So what I've come to the conclusion on is that we need a director of operations that will take care of the day-to-day operations and allow me to be more forthright looking and planning. With that said, I'm pleased to announce that our new director of operations is Nikki Sweeney. Nikki, I want to publicly welcome you to Mountain Sweet Honey and to our customers. So welcome aboard.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Now, Nikki, some of your background is in customer service, but before you got into that, you were working on your degree with Ottawa University in business management and in marketing. Am I correct?
That's correct. Yes.
So that was a real, folks, that was a real biggie for me, seeing those two on her resume. And Nikki, to top it all off, you're a beekeeper too.
Yes.
All right. And when you came on board, 4 weeks, 5 weeks ago?
5 weeks ago.
All right. You started out in what part of our business?
So I started out in the call center. I'm in customer service currently.
Now, you got a lot of background in customer service. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So pretty much my entire career, customer service. Before coming here to Mountain Sweet Honey, I had my own insurance agency where customer service is number one. You're dealing with customers on a daily basis, all day, every day, and their needs come first. And that's not any different with Mountain Sweet Honey. So basically the same thing. What I found is our staff goes above and beyond, whatever that may be. Our courtesy calls every morning to thank them for their orders, sending out educational videos to help them with either keeping their bees or with their supplies that they've purchased, whatever it may be. All of our staff is so willing to just serve. And I love, that's one of the things that I really, truly love about the company is everybody seems to have that servant's heart.
Now, we have 3 new employees that are in the call center. So you've kind of moved in with them on that side. So tell us a little bit about your experiences there.
So we're kind of learning and growing together, which is a lot of fun because they're teaching me and I'm teaching them. And I don't think that can be a bad thing in any way. We're all just kind of growing day by day. I just see them getting better and myself getting better with every call that we make, every phone call that we take.
Now, you were in customer service previous to this, and tell us a little bit about that.
Yep. So I was in customer service. Well, prior to here, I had the insurance agency. So basically, I ran everything in the office. So if phone calls came in or phone calls were going out, typically they were made by me. Prior to that, I was in a call center. I was a supervisor there. If you know anything about a call center, it's constant calls in. And they're not always the best, but you just take each call and you try to make the best of it. So that's, again, no different than what we're doing here.
This was just over the top when I was looking at your resume of the customer service side, because we wouldn't be where we are today without that. And having you come on board and helping us take this to the next level was just really, really important to me. And I appreciate what you've done thus far already in the customer service side of our business.
Thank you.
Now, tell us a little bit about your beekeeping. Have you had some successes or failures?
I have had both.
Okay, all right.
Definitely had both. So I am not a professional beekeeper by no means. I'm only a few years into beekeeping.
1 or 2 or 10 hives?
So no. So right now I have 1. I had 2.
Right.
I had the 2. Unfortunately, trial and error. I had a wax moth incident. User error, I think, was the real thing. But so I just have 1 currently, but they seem to be thriving and going well. I got into beekeeping a few years ago because my husband and I had started a garden, and we just noticed there were no bees. Nothing was pollinating. We couldn't seem. I was out there trying to pollinate my vegetables by hand, and I was like, "This is insane. Where are all the bees?" And then I found myself at Lowe's one day, and there were a lot of honeybees on the flowers, and I was literally trying to grab the ones with the bees because I wanted to bring the plants home and bring the bees home and put them in the garden. So. I was like, I really would love to get into beekeeping, and I did a couple classes that they offered over at North Georgia Tech, and I wanted to try to learn all the ins and outs, so I didn't have that first-year failure, but I didn't. I had a second-year failure, so it was fine.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Folks, as you can see, she's a backyard beekeeper like 90% of our customers are, and so she understands the ups and downs of beekeeping, and Nikki, you've also been on the phones with customers, and what's been your experience there?
So I have not had a bad experience on the phone whatsoever. So I'm making outbound calls. I'm trying to be right there with our staff members and showing them that I'm just like they are. So I'm making outbound calls. I'm taking inbound calls. Our customers, all that I have found everywhere from New York down to Florida, Connecticut, everywhere, they're all just like me. I mean, they're all just, most of them are backyard beekeepers just trying to learn, trying to get their honey intake up, and they love their bees. So, that part has been great. I'm learning from them. They'll tell me something, and then I'll go and research it because it's maybe something I didn't know. So that part of it's been really good. And they love the help. Whatever advice we can give them, however we can help them. I don't know how many times I've had people say, "Oh my gosh, thank you. I didn't know that." And it's just been a really good experience. One of the young ladies yesterday, I know you and I talked about it. She had a phone call, and the gentleman on the other side of the line he said, "I can tell y'all are a Christian-based customer. A Christian-based company. Every person that I've talked to has been so kind and willing to help." So I just loved hearing that. I don't know. It's a different environment, and I love it.
Now, Nikki, with the customer call center being the largest part of our business, tell us a little bit about the staff. We have 3 new ones, and and then our existing staff. And tell us a little bit of your take on our call center.
It's a really well-kept machine. It runs really well. Everybody works so well together. I don't know how else to put that. I was a little adamant coming into this because I am a newer beekeeper. I'm new to this industry. I'm new to the company. But honest to goodness, everybody has been so warm and welcoming, and everybody helps everybody. I know the first week that I was here, I spoke to one of our call center members, and he said, Shasta's my supervisor, but she's also one of my best friends. And I just found that to be, I don't know, that was huge in the grand scheme of things. They didn't feel like they, had this power trip or somebody that was looking down on them, not trying to help them succeed. Everybody wants everyone to succeed. We all want what's best for the customer and the company. And I just have found that to be just such a breath of fresh air.
Well, your next stop after customer service will be back into shipping.
Yes.
And you've gotten a little bit of your hands dirty back there. As a matter of fact, yesterday, if I remember right.
I did.
And folks, Nikki will be working herself around to each stop of our business. And after shipping, it will be into order management and learning what Aubrey does on a day-to-day basis. And then you're ready to unfurl your wings and ready to fly at that point. And folks, I want to just say that Nikki is the future of our company. As I reduce my hours down to normal work hours, feel free to call her if there's ever anything that you need. She is the go-to gal that is representing me in the business, and I'm glad to have you along with us on this ride.
Yeah, I'm excited. Right? It's been great, and I appreciate the opportunity. I'm looking forward to working with everyone. So,
well, welcome aboard.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, folks, let's talk about feeders. A lot of times when we have feeders that we purchase, we don't know how to use them to their maximum ability. So that's what I want to take some time and look at each of these individual feeders and explain what's going on with each of these feeders, and also letting you know what kind of a sale we have on each of these. So let's get started, Brian, with our Ceracell feeder here. Okay, for tonight, our Ceracell top feeder is on sale for $28.05. That's a 15% savings. And Brian, let's go on to the next slide here. Now, with Ceracell, they have 2 different size feeders, an 8 frame and a 10 frame. There's entryways on the top feeder for Ceracell. There are 5 entry points. In the center, there's a dome, and on each of the corners, there's also an entryway that the bees can go on in and get the liquid feed that we would be putting into that feeder during the winter months or during a dearth. So many access points. Now, one of the great things on each of these access points is that they have texture to the the plastic that is holding that water back. And that allows the bees not to fall in and drown. They can simply grab onto the texture and get back out of the syrup that they're eating from. Now, so we have 4 corners and a dome, and it's all high quality construction. And the durability on these is just phenomenal. We've been selling them for about 4 years now, and not one complaint yet on these Ceracell top feeders. Now, let's take a look at why you would want to use this feeder. First of all, it does not disturb the hive during the cold winter months. And yes, there will be some cool weather that gets in, but overall, you're only going to fill it, and it should take 15, 20 seconds to fill it up, and then put your outer cover back on it, and you're ready to go. So very little disturbing, very little cool air getting into the hive during those cooler months. All right. As I stated a minute ago, there's many access points. So regardless of where the bees are on the top super, they still have quick access so they can drink and then go back into the cluster and get warm again. So very, very important part of feeding is having it close to your bees so that they can get back into the colony and get warm again. All right. And as I also stated, there's hardly no drowning that you'll see with this particular feeder. The feeder has the texturedness of the sides, and thus very little drowning that you'll see there. Now, Brian, let's go to the next slide here. The great thing about this particular feeder is you can take those corners out and take the dome off and put dry feed in there. Now, if you're looking to order online, use the QR code on the left side for 8-frame and on the right side for the 10-frame feeder, and that will take you directly to our website, and you'll be able to order right on there. So use your camera phone and put your camera on it, and it will lock in on these QR codes and take you directly there. And there is no special code for this. We will have it marked down for 2805 through midnight tonight. Okay, so when we take these corners out and the dome off, now we can put pollen in, or dry sugar, or even a pollen patty could be put into the bottom of this base for the bees to feed on. And again, this just allows a lot more. Brian, let's go ahead to the next slide here. You can see here that that's a dry sugar that has been put in there, and some beekeepers like to do that. So you can kind of go back and forth from a liquid feed to more of a solid feed. And we'll go on to the next slide here. And there's some pollen. We do sell pollen also, folks, and you can just go and drop your pollen in there. Make sure that your corners are out and your dome is off, and you're in business on feeding dry feed.
Ray, I want to quickly jump in. It looks like it's very durable construction. Tell me about that plastic. Is that a special polymer? Is that food grade? What should people know about the quality of this?
This is a very dense quality polymer that's used, and it has shown no warpage, and in fact is a food grade polymer. So it's very easy to clean out at the end of the season or during the season. If you see some mold or fungus that's starting to grow within the feeder itself, you can just simply wipe it out or put it in the dishwasher even, and bring it out clean, and you're ready to use it again.
And that's made by Ceracell. So if somebody goes to mountainsweethoney.com, of course, if you use those QR codes that we showed on the screen a minute ago, it takes you right to it. But if somebody wants to just go to mountainsweethoney.com and pick up that product with the savings, what's the process?
Well, it's quite simple, Brian. What you would do next is just simply put in mountainsweethoney.com and then go to the little magnifying glass on the top right and put in Ceracell. And that will give you all the Ceracell products that we offer.
I do want to quickly mention, as we alluded to earlier, we do have the freebies, a package of freebies to be given away. What type of bees do we want to give away, Ray?
We're going to give away a 3-pound Italian package.
Everybody loves the Italians. It's real simple, just as we have done in the past. Go into the comment section there on YouTube, the Mountain Sweet Honey YouTube channel. We found that's where most of you enjoy and consume Buzz TV. Type in freebies there in the chat. Now, we always appreciate the likes and the subscribes, all the things that that help the algorithm push this to more beekeepers. But if you're interested in the package of freebies, just type in freebies in the chat. And then I think we're going to announce this coming up tomorrow morning there on our YouTube channel. Is that how we're going to do this?
Yes, we'll be doing it on the YouTube channel and also on Facebook. And also we'll be having the winner also named on our next broadcast.
Look what time it is. That's Friday coming up very, very soon. Cyber Monday as well. How can we afford to do that? That's just our little reminder to you guys about this wonderful opportunity coming up here on Buzz TV. Let me get that off the screen, get back to Ray here. Tell us about Black Friday and Cyber Monday deals.
Well, Black Friday and Cyber Monday, we have been working since bee season was over in the middle of May on getting products in at great prices. There's been times that we've just bought hundreds and hundreds of items just so that we could offer a very good discount during our promotion on Black Friday and Cyber Monday. And you know, Brian, we had a lot of fun with our viewers last year, and we're going to get Nikki in here to be looking at some of the comments that are coming in. She'll be drawing winners every hour. We'll be giving away a bee package not only on Friday but also on Monday. So Black Friday and Cyber Monday, Brian, we're going to be giving away somewhere around 10 packages of bees and a lot of other great discounts and some other giveaway items. So this is a great time to tune us in, do picture-in-a-picture on your computer screen so your boss thinks you are at work when you're not. And we all know most of us are not, but we are at work. And so anyhow, we're going to have a lot of fun. We had a great time last year, and it's even going to be greater this coming Black Friday.
That will start at 9 a.m., both the day after Thanksgiving, also the following Monday, known as Cyber Monday. It's Christmas really coming early for the Mountain Sweet Honey family. Be watching your email if you're connected with us and you get our regular emails. Ray will be pushing out details on all of that. So it's going to be a chance to maybe stuff some stockings with some good deals.
Yes.
Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and live streams of Buzz TV.
Well, Brian, let's go on ahead and pick up where we left off on the feeders here. Let's talk about the frame feeder. The frame feeder right now is on sale for $14.99, was $19.99, so it's a $5 savings. And if you want to order this, use the QR code that you see on your screen, and it will take you right to Mountain Sweet Honey and to our frame feeder there. This frame feeder fits 8 frame or 10 frames, so no worries about that there. It has a wood top, and a lot of times you'll see a plastic top. And unfortunately, those plastic tops allow a lot of bees to get in because it warps over time. And so we have elected to always carry this as a wood top. And it has 2 sturdy ladder systems that come in to play where the bees can go down in. Now, these are roughly 1 inch in diameter. So the bees, regardless if they get down into the syrup, they can quickly grab onto the ladder and get back out. So once again, very little bee drowning deaths that you'll see with this frame feeder. Now, when we look at this, those little black rubber bands that are on there, those are gaskets that hold this all into place. And you have 3 of those that go across there. You'll never really have to take this off until you have to clean it. And I always suggest cleaning these at the end of the season when you're going to use that. So $14.99, use the QR code here on the screen, and it will take you directly to this product.
How does the QR code work? You want to walk somebody through using the QR code?
Yeah, put on your photo part of your smartphone, and it will lock right into the QR code, and then press it. On mine, it's a little orange box that lights up, and that will take you right into our website. So we try to make it really easy, Brian, for folks to get in and order and not be off the screen for too awfully long placing the order. Now, let's talk a little bit about some of the negative parts of using this particular feeder. Is when you go in to put new liquid feed into this, you're going to have to open up the hive, which means you got to be quick. I would say no more than a minute. Get in there, fill your feeder, and then close it back on up, because you will chill your bees with this type of feeder. Now, this is a really great feeder because you can take it either down in the brood nest during dearth, or you can raise it up on the upper part of the hive. So either way, a real winner for you in using this in the off seasons there. All right, so like I said, the only time that you would take off the wood cover is for cleaning purposes only. And that's it for the frame feeder.
Yes, it is. Of course, we are reminding you of the Black Friday, Cyber Monday sale coming up.
These on the air on Friday is everything about what beekeepers need, not some off-name product that no one's heard of. These are all going to be name brand products that we're going to be putting on at special pricing during the broadcast. So, folks, you don't want to miss this. I'm telling you, the prices are going to be absolutely crazy, and you guys look to load up on some great bargains on Black Friday.
Do you remember last year, did we do 3 hours or 5 hours? Do you remember? I guess, okay, we did 5 because we were teasing there on the little graphic that you saw, 9 a.m. till 2 p.m. So we're going to be drinking lots of sugar water, just like your bees, so that we are tanked up and ready. So imagine that, 5 hours of savings, both Friday and coming up on Cyber Monday.
Yeah, and Brian, if you haven't forgotten, we were having such a good time on Friday that we said, let's do this again on Cyber Monday. And it was even bigger and more special on Cyber Monday.
Probably because you got a lot of family finally out of the way. So, day after Thanksgiving, big shopping day, you still got mom and dad hanging around. And maybe by Monday, the coast is clear to get back to beekeeping.
Yes, I think you're right on that there. So let's move on, Brian. Let's talk about the Boardman feeders. The sale this evening, $4.99. If you want to order this, you'll go to the QR code that's there on the screen. Just use your photo part of your smartphone and shoot it in, and then just put your finger on it once it locks in, and it will take you right to our website and this product. Now, let's talk a little bit about the Boardman feeder. We're going to be talking about the base on this, not the actual mason jar, but I will go in a couple of different sizes and tell you a little bit about those here in a minute. So when we're looking at the Boardman feeder, it's an exterior feeder. And one of the nice things that backyard beekeepers like on this is that they can look out their back window and say, hey, look, I got to get out and feed my bees because I can barely see any feed there in the jar. And that is a really nice way of monitoring it by far and being able to take care of your bees at the same time. So it's easy to see if you need to refill. And Brian, let's go to the next slide here. Okay, so on these Boardman feeders, the entryway is right there at the bottom, and the bees will crawl in. They'll go up underneath the mason jar, and you will see these prick marks into the head of the jar. And
Before we get to that, though, there is one part there that is the anchor point where your super will actually weigh in on this Boardman feeder so that it won't slip out with the weight of the jar itself. And the other thing that's really good on this, and I don't have a picture of it, but if for some reason it begins to flood out because you didn't put enough sugar into the water, it will flow outside of the hive, where if it was an internal feeder, it could possibly flood out your hive. So very good point on the deep super anchor point going across there, keeps it very secure within the hive itself. Let's go to the next slide. All right, so right there, we're showing you the winter position, which is really narrow, and then the summer position, which would be higher, and that will dictate one of what your solid bottom board is. If you've got it flipped over for the winter side, then it will handle that, or flip it back over for the summer side. And again, that's $4.99 Boardman feeder. Click on it, and it will take you directly to our website. Let's go to the next slide, Brian. Okay, so these are the holes that I was telling you that are punched into the top of the feeder, and it has a rubber gasket to help it maintain its seal. And it's a vacuum type of deal here, where there will be little droplets of sugar water that will go through those little openings, and the bees will come up and drink from it. So that is how this Boardman feeder works. It just uses just good old gravity and vacuum to help feed the bees. Let's go to the next slide. All right, so you have 3 different sizes of mason jars that you can use with a Boardman feeder: the pint, quart, or 32 ounce. Now, depending on what part of the year that you're in, if you're in like pre-spring, you might want to use a quart or a 32 ounce jar. And that way you're only having to go out every 3 or 4 days for a quart for a refill, or the 32 ounce, you can go up to a week plus without having to refill the feeder itself. And again, that's $4.99 on sale this evening. Boardman feeder with a QR code that you see there on the screen. Just click on it and it'll take you to our website.
And when Ray says to click on it, basically it's take out your phone, open up the camera app, and point it at that particular code that you see where it says Boardman feeder, and you've got the arrow going down. That will then bring up the link, and so then you click on that right there on your phone screen, and that will take you right to where Ray is saying you can get the savings. Clarify for me, if you would, the bottles, the jars, they're not part of this, correct?
That's correct.
So you're providing your own. If somebody wanted to buy the mason jars, are they available from Mountain Sweet Honey?
Well, you can get them from us, or you can get them as close as your hardware store. Now, Brian, there's really 2 more things I'd like to add in regards to this Boardman feeder. Is one, you don't disturb the colony when refilling on this here. Now, it does require the bee to go a little bit more further from the ball of the colony during the cold season and get down to the Boardman feeder for a drink. And so that is a negative on that. And it is also great for beekeepers south of the Mason-Dixon line. The freeze point on sugar water is roughly 27 degrees negative. And at that point, it will begin to freeze within the jar itself. So if you're up in the winter country of the Northeast or upper North, you would not want to use a Boardman feeder during the winter months where you're located.
I'm going to jump in again. Alice in Blairsville is asking, how do I win the freebies? Alice, just a quick reminder, put the word freebies, either it can be 2 words or 1 word, however you want to spell it, there in the comments on our YouTube channel, and we'll announce the winner coming up tomorrow on our on our Facebook channel. So make sure you're connected with us there on Facebook to see if you're the winner. Of course, if you are the winner, we will reach out to make all the connection points to get those Italian honeybees. So we're looking forward to giving those away. Put freebies in the comments there on YouTube. Thanks, Alice, for checking in with us.
Now let's talk about the round top feeder. The round top feeder is a disposable type of feeder, and it holds approximately 1 quart of sugar water. Now, you could also use this for dry feed by just taking out the clear inner cover and keeping the top clear cover on also. Now, I would place this in the center of the inner cover vent hole so that there's easy access. And when you get in to feed the bees, there will be very minimal coolness that gets into the hive itself. And the best thing about this also is that it allows easy access for the colony to get in and out of the feeder itself. It does have a ridged ladder on the inside if you're feeding liquid feed to your bees. And again, you can also use powder feed or also pollen in feeding your bees. Now, this is a thinner plastic construction, and it is made for one season. Maybe you might be able to get 2 seasons out of it. But that is the round top feeder. This is on sale today for $7.99. Simply go to the QR code there on the screen and click on it, and it will take you directly to that product on our website. You are watching Buzz TV, and I just want to say thank you for those that have watched every single episode that we have published over the last year here. Now let's talk a little bit about the sugar water ratios, because a lot of people are sometimes find this as a mystery of how do you measure your sugar versus water ratio. So let's make it really simple. What you'll do is you'll get a gallon, let's just say a milk jug gallon, and you'll dry it out. You'll put 1 sugar into there and then empty that out. Then fill it with warm or hot water for another gallon. Now, please remember that you cannot boil water and then add it into the sugar, because it changes the molecular makeup of the sugar and it will not help your bees on that there. So 1-to-1, real easy. Now, if you want to maintain during your colder months and you're in the mid-Atlantic or further south, a sugar water ratio of 1 gallon of water to 1.5 gallons of sugar would be acceptable. Now, if you're in the far north, you would just use a 2-to-1, 2 sugar gallons to 1 water. And again, don't ever boil your water, because that hot tap water will be very sufficient in diluting the sugar crystals. Now, if you want to do something that's extra special for your bees, and that would be adding essential oils. Don't forget lemongrass oil or tea tree oil. The bees really like it. It helps clean out their guts, and that they can thrive during these winter months. And your bees will absolutely love you for it. Remember, if you feed one hive, you must feed all the hives, or if not, you're going to have robbing of the hive that you're feeding, especially the lemongrass or tea tree oil. So very, very important. Don't feed one, feed them all.
Hey, always good stuff, Ray. I know one of the questions that people may be asking is when you talk about, let's say, a 1-to-1 sugar to water ratio, what is that to sugar? Are we talking sugar crystals? Are we talking a gallon of sugar? Give me a little more explanation, if you would.
Okay, so the sugar is actually what you'll find at your local supermarket. This is going to be crystallized sugar that you would use in baking. You would use it also in maybe putting it on cereal or something like that there. So you would just basically take a 5 or 10 pound bag and fill that 1 gallon jug up, and that would be your 1-to-1 if that's what you were making. Over this past year, we have been following the Varroa infestation in Australia, and we've gotten some more updates, as many of you have seen through our previous broadcasts, that the Australian government has went in and burned and eradicated thousands of hives
in the hopes that they would put Varroa out of business there in Australia. They even expanded the quarantine zone, and now this video pretty much sums it up, is that the government has lost control of this quarantine area, and it has spread beyond that. So Brian, let's run that video.
15 months responding to outbreaks and more than $100 million spent, but the battle to slay Varroa mite is lost.
Now is the time to abandon minimisation via eradication and instead move to minimisation of harm through management.
There's been growing pressure to end the large-scale destruction of beehives.
I definitely feel that it could have happened earlier.
Some beekeepers are expected to be hit harder than others.
The ones that have only been euthanized within the last couple of weeks, that's going to be a very hard call. So especially commercial guys, I think we really need to revisit the compensation.
It turns out the pest has been in the Kempsey region for 7 months longer than was known.
That has allowed the mite to spread faster and further than what our tracing has been able to keep up with.
Interstate beekeepers concede the change was inevitable.
We had no other choice than to accept that Varroa had beaten us. There's Varroa 1, beekeeper 0.
In place of culling, beekeepers will have to control the mite in their hives with chemical strips, and bee numbers will fall. There are implications for pollinated crops across the country.
It will bring extra costs to beekeepers, extra costs to food producers, and extra costs to consumers.
But not everyone agrees with the decision.
You watch the amateur beekeeper side of things go downhill very, very quickly.
It's estimated that if left unchecked, Varroa mite could cost the bee and crop industries $5.2 billion over the next 30 years.
We can significantly reduce that risk by slowing the spread
and limiting the fallout of a pest that's now here to stay. Emily Doak, ABC News, Wagga Wagga.
Folks, I think it's a sad day to see what has happened to our beekeeper friends down in Australia. But I think that now it's all about doing proper Varroa treatments in order to keep the hives on a sustainable rate there in Australia. So our prayers go out to our beekeepers there in Australia. Now, Brian, let's talk a little bit about this past year.
Yeah, Ray, hard to believe. The year has flown by. Thank you so much for your investment into our Mountain Sweet Honey family, into this community. I think it's so important to have a live stream that's out there by beekeepers. Of course, you're the real beekeeper. I'm just along for the ride, but a lot of us that are getting started needed a place that we could come to get some education and have some fun along the way. Of course, don't forget, if you haven't put freebies into the chat there on YouTube, do that right now. Just type in freebies, because tomorrow morning on our Facebook channel, we'll announce a winner of an Italian package of freebies. I want that to be you, but if you don't take time to go to the YouTube channel and put that in, it won't be you. So, man, what a great year. I've put together a little montage of some of the great folks that we got to chat with.
John Carone from Peerco, and we're going to be sending a big order to John here in the next couple of weeks for that. And then Bobby, you know, one of the funniest videos that I think you've ever done was taking his picture from CNN with the bees. There's everywhere there's bees, and that was really fun. We had Jamie Ellis with us, and what a privilege to have him on the show with us. And
yeah, he's a professor down at the University of Florida.
That's correct.
And runs or is a very key component of the entomology department there. And it was good getting some top-notch education from Dr. Ellis.
You know, in Florida, seemed to be more on our radar screen this year, simply because we started out with Jamie, and then we were down in January. Down.
Yeah, I'm throwing this up.
Hurricane Ian.
Nadine, one of the television reporters that was instrumental.
Yes, Nadine actually came out and did interviews with us, and it was just a good sweet time that we had with all three beekeepers that we met with down there, and helping them get back on their feet.
Uriah Underhill, what a touching moment this was.
Yeah, everything got leveled there on the island, and they really didn't have anything left.
it just all got washed out. And it was pretty cool there. And
Sean Goobody. Yeah.
Sean, we went up to Northport and met Sean. And it was just amazing, the swath that came through for Hurricane Ian, that it affected a lot of beekeepers.
Yeah, it was beyond the devastation of what we imagined when we got to see it. But we were grateful to be able to go and talk with Brad McKenzie there on Pine Island.
Yeah, Brad, he's getting back on his feet, Brian, and doing well on getting back to what he did best out there on the island. And it was just good to see him getting back on his feet, as well as all the other folks that live out there on the island.
Brad actually gave me some of the local honey that he produced. And
Yes.
that was some really good honey.
Yeah,
so whatever, Brad, you had going on there on Pine Island, hope you get back on your feet again, back in the business of creating some great product for everybody.
But we're going to do this each time a need comes up, a major need, Brian. We're going to go where we need to go to help our beekeepers get back on their feet. And one of the things that we're going to be doing on Black Friday is auctioning off a Shasta original on her painting of a beehive. And last year, if I remember right, it went to like $1,200.
I was even thinking a little north of that, but again, that was a year ago. But
that's because we allowed the runner-up to purchase another hive that was done. And shoot, we raised well over $2,500 for local charities. And last year it went to Face Powerhouse, which is a counseling center for abused kids. And we're working on our next charity that we're going to work with for this coming year. So we'll announce that on Black Friday, who that's going to be.
Very cool. It all starts Black Friday, our next live stream.
Now
night.
let me tell a little bit more. Now this Shasta original, she's got chickens on the outside of the hive, and I saw the first pass on it, and it really looks nice. And so this is something that you would want to put out where everybody can see it. I mean, it's done really, really well, and hopefully we'll have that up on Facebook next week, where everybody can see what they're going to be bidding on at that time.
It's going to be a fun show.
Yes.
You're going to have the opportunity to get that Shasta original. She's a wonderful artist that works for Mountain Sweet Honey. And every time we throw up one of her designs to be given away or auctioned off, everybody is sort of saying, hey, I'd like that. Well, there's a way you can.
We actually had people calling in all through January and February of saying, hey, I want a Shasta original. And it just got more than what she could handle. But anyhow, it is a good thing that we're doing for our nonprofits, and we just want to be part of it. Whatever we raise, I'll meet it, double it, and away we go.
Who all do we need to thank at the conclusion of the show? Set design, anybody working behind the scenes?
I want to give a shout out to Aubrey. She helps us behind the scenes and backdrops. She's really good at making us look better, Brian, in the backdrops. And then we've got Nikki that's new on board. She'll be helping us with our social media pages and drawing names of winners. And Brian, I want to thank you. I mean, you have put in some hours to make these shows happen, and without you, it wouldn't be happening. So I want to thank you too.
Tremendous amount of fun, and I've said it before, but I'll say it again. Just the incredible response from the community to be a part of the community makes it all worth it. And I look forward to a wonderful season number 2.
Let's do it.
One last time. Freebies, put it into the comments, the chat section there on YouTube. We'll announce that winner coming up tomorrow. Check us out on the YouTube, I've said that before, on the Facebook page for Mountain Sweet Honey to see if you're the winner. And then join us right back here the day after Thanksgiving, 9 a.m. till 2 p.m., We're going to do 5 hours.
Yes, 5 hours
of live streaming, but the 5 hours of incredible savings
Man,
is
it's
the reason
crazy.
to
It's
come
crazy
back.
good, Brian. So we'll see you all on Black Friday.